So for my city port assignment, I decided that I wanted to do a carrier spaceship with a huge human population on it. So I looked into Ishimura from Dead Space and Mass Effect 2 with the Citadel, because they hold huge human populations on them. I then started to look at the colours, on how I actually wanted the colours to be on my spaceship. I looked at urban colours such as browns and beiges, and then I ended up sticking with a more traditional look with blues and greens and blacks and silvers. And then I actually looked at different spaceships, different textures, different shapes, round shapes, big shapes. I looked at wings, I looked at antennas, I looked at everything ship related, and I came up with just putting a box down, and then I just decided I'd go off from there. So I started adding small things like the thrusters at the back, and then I added wings, I added thrusters onto the sides as well. The one main aspect I love about my model is the biodome on the side. I absolutely love it because it gives off the vibe that people actually live on this spaceship, and there is a high population of people living on this spaceship. I then started adding things such as the engine at the bottom, and I added a cockpit, I added antennas, I added delivery ships, escape pods. I added everything that I could think of in my mind to give off the vibe that people lived on this ship. They were incapable of living outside of space. They had to live on this ship more than anything. I then had to look at the scale of the ship, because I had a little problem at the beginning. I made my ship too small, so I had to make a human figure, and then I had to scale everything to proportion, make it as big as it possibly could go. And then I looked at trees, because I wanted trees inside my biodome to give off, air and things like that. Obviously a tree is bigger than a human being, so it was really, it was a good thing for me to do, adding trees. I then started texturing it, and I looked into textures like gunmetal and silver and just everything I could think of, basically. I looked into Arc and Design in 3ds Max, adding things like metal and glass for the windows. I also looked into car paint as well. I got really addicted to car paint because every time I put a light on it, it looked so good. It just gave off light all the time, reflecting and things like that. I looked at the biodome as well, how I wanted the glass, because I didn't want it completely transparent. I wanted it to, you couldn't see in it, but you could still see something in it. So I ended up having frosted glass, so you could vaguely see the trees inside it. I added effects like the energy fuel tubes that I have on the sides and everywhere else. I have glowing effects coming out of it to make it look like there is energy flowing through the ship constantly and making it look like it's inhabited, basically. The windows, I kept them just basic as possible. And then I was looking at other textures such as carbon fiber, and I went into UV mapping. I did map a lot of it eventually, but I did have a lot of problems. I had a lot of problems with the carbon fiber, with tiling it and things like that. Tiling it wasn't very easy, but I got used to it a lot more because I was in another assignment as well doing things like that, so I got really good at it. My opinion of my ship, I really do love my ship. As soon as I completed it and I hadn't textured it, I loved it instantly. I couldn't wait to get all the textures on it and see what it looked like. I added lights around it just to see what it looked like from each angle. It looks really good to me. I think it gives off the vibe that a lot of people do live on this ship, and it's just inhabited by a civilization of human beings, and I basically stayed to my idea. And I like the fact that I didn't add urban colours as well. I like the blue added to everything. I also added a background to it to just add the effect.